So it's that time of year again to buy gifts for all of your family and friends, and you happen to know that one of them plays the guitar. But then you realize that you don't know anything about playing the guitar, or anything that guitar players want. But no problem, you hop over to YouTube and you look up gifts for guitar players, and you realize there's tons of videos. You think, wow, this is going to be easy. But then you realize that they play classical guitar. And trust me, you don't want to be that person that gets a classical guitarist, a pack of guitar picks, a new guitar cable, or a book that has songs in tablature. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my list of 10 things that I think would make a great gift for most classical guitarists. And yes, obviously still use your best judgment of things that you think they might need or want. I hope that this video helps you out, and if you are the guitarist, feel free to send this video to someone that you think might need it to help find things that you might want. So the first item on this list is something that I'm sure that most guitar players would always want more of, and that would be more guitar strings. They always wear down, break, or get scratchy, and honestly we just like having extras around so that way we can change them out and have a nice sound when we play or when we practice. Now unfortunately you can't just go into your local music store or go into a guitar center and buy any pack of strings, because chances are they're not the ones that that person likes to use. And even if this store has every kind of classical guitar string, knowing which one to get them is still the main issue. So a solution to this that I would recommend would be getting them a gift card to Strings by Mail. This site has pretty much every kind of guitar string, and they sell other things besides strings as well, so if they by chance are all set with strings, they can definitely make use of the gift card. Now obviously you're not going to get them a guitar, and if you are then lucky them. But the next best thing that you could get them would be something to take care of their current guitar. During these winter months, like it might be for many of you, the guitar does not do well when it gets too dry. Things can happen to the guitar such as cracking, the bridge popping off, and all things that you don't want to imagine happening to their favorite instrument. So I would recommend getting them things that will help prevent this. The first thing would be a hydrometer, and that's something that's about this big or so, isn't too expensive, and all it does is it tells you the current humidity in the room. This is great because if the room that they're in is not suitable for the guitar, at least then they'll know. And if it is, then they'll also know that their guitar is safe in there. But let's say that it's not and the humidity is way too low. Then what you can get them is a humidifier for their guitar. Now for this there's a few different options. One of them is something simple as a little case that comes with a sponge inside of it. All they need to do is soak the sponge with water, put it inside the case, put that inside their guitar, and the sponge will emit humidity inside of the instrument. But if you want to be really nice, I would recommend getting the Diodario Humi Packs. These are great because not only do they give humidity out, but also if it's too moist, they actually take the humidity back in, making sure that the guitar stays at the perfect humidity for the wood to be at its best. Now let's by chance say that they have a few guitars. What I would recommend for them would be a humidifier for the room. These obviously are a lot bigger and they're a lot more pricey, but they're great because they keep the guitar room at a safe humidity for the guitar wood to be kept safe. For a classical guitarist, their nails are the foundation of their sound. They're what gives us the tone that we search after. And taking care of our nails is a huge part of being a classical guitarist. So some things that you can get to help us out would either be nail files, sandpaper, nail formulas, and even fake nails. So obviously we don't use just any old nail file. If you use the ones that people oftentimes will get at CVS or use when they file their own nails, we're gonna not want to use them. But if you're set on getting a nail file for your favorite guitarist, I would definitely recommend to get one with 4 or more sides. Try find ones that have a wide variety, that have a fairly rough one, to a smoother, and even one that feels so smooth it's not gonna file your nail at all. Because those are the ones that we're probably gonna want to use the most. Now there's something called sandpaper, and obviously no, it's not sandpaper you would use to sand down some wood. The sandpaper that you do want though can actually be found on the site that I mentioned before, Strings by Mail. I would highly recommend to go there, look up sandpaper on their search, and you should be able to find it. And if you can't, feel free to leave a comment on this video and I'll post the link somewhere for you. Now I'm sure as you know that not everybody's nails are all equally the same. Many people's nails break or chip even from being out in the cold too long. So what I would recommend to get them would be a formula that can help their nails get stronger. Any nail hardener should work, but the one that I would recommend would be one that's called Formula 2. And this can be found at any CVS or Walgreens, and honestly it's great. It helps my nails definitely get way stronger, even to a point where they don't really wear down from playing even for a few hours. Now when it comes to fake nails, just like guitar strings, it really is a very big personal preference. Some people even like to use ping pong balls. So if they have a ping pong table or they like to play beer pong, then it's kind of like 2 gifts in one. But the fake nails that I've heard a lot of good things about are from the company called Rico nails. And even though they're a little bit more expensive than fake nails you might see at CVS or Walgreens, they tend to have a little better sound because obviously they're meant for being used on the classical guitar. So the next gift that you could get them is one that I personally would really want for myself, and that would be taking lessons with a great guitarist. And there's tons of them, and the great thing about being a classical guitarist is that even though some of the best guitarists are on tour and are Grammy winners and are teaching at some of the best colleges, they're still very accessible. It's super easy to send them an email and say, hey, I'm interested in taking a lesson with you. How much would you charge for 1 hour? Now, some guitarists are definitely going to charge more than others, but if that guitarist is that person's favorite guitar player, I'm sure that they would be very happy with even just one lesson with them. But what if their favorite guitarist by chance either isn't around anymore or isn't available to give lessons? The next best thing you can get them would be CDs and DVDs. And yes, I know that everything is on streaming platforms these days and you can find pretty much everything on YouTube. However, as musicians, CDs in my opinion are still super important, primarily because of the CD insert booklets. And these are great because many times it's the guitarists themselves, and if not them, someone else that they trust, putting in the words themselves about the music that they're playing. And most of the things that are in here you can't find online, and even if you could, it would take a lot of digging around. And not to mention, CDs still have a higher quality than listening to things on streaming platforms such as Spotify or YouTube. So this next gift idea is really all dependent on where the student is in their development, and also dependent on what the student has already and doesn't have. And if you're not quite sure of where the guitar player is, but they take lessons, I would highly recommend reaching out to the teacher and asking them what sheet music, method books, and technique books they think that they might need. Now, there's many books that I personally would recommend that I think are essential for all guitar players. Some of them include things such as Pumping Nylon, Kitharologus, the Brouwer studies, the Lobos books, and so on. But that will probably be another video for another time. All of the ones that I just listed I think are a must-have for any guitar player's bookshelf. But check their bookshelf first to make sure that they don't already have it. Now, they might have all of the sheet music and technique books that they could currently need, but there's tons of other books that you can get them as well. Books ranging from anything from history of the guitar, history of certain players, books about how to practice, how to perform, books about the music business, and books about how to get gigs and make a living as a musician. All of these things are things that are very essential for a serious guitarist. Now, just like the other books, you want to check their bookshelf to see what they have and what they don't have, but this one provides a lot more options, and chances are they don't have all of the things they might need. So nowadays, so much stuff is online, and that can be a good thing, only if you know what stuff is good to look at. And I would highly recommend getting them a subscription to a site such as Tonebase. These sites have tons of videos with tons of famous guitar players talking about everything from technique to history and to building a music career. These can be a great resource for students who are always looking to learn more. Now, this next item is definitely recommended for the more advanced student, but it could be beneficial for students of any level. And what that would be some more recording equipment. Now, you don't need to go crazy and go out and buy fancy microphones and preamps and all that crazy stuff. Even just a little handheld recorder would make a great gift. Now, depending on how advanced the student is, you might want to go out and get them a nicer set of microphones. But obviously, still use your best judgment of what you think they actually need, as well as what you can afford within your budget. So the last thing is probably the biggest in terms of cost, but not necessarily in terms of size. And what that would be helping them fund a trip to go to a guitar festival of some kind. Whether it's helping out pay for the airfare, pay for any travel expenses, or paying for the festival itself. These kinds of events are great for guitar players of all levels, and many of them don't go, unfortunately, purely because of cost. But if they had help with some of the costs, I'm sure that they would love to be able to go to some of these events. Anyway, that's my list. If you guys found this helpful, or there's things that you think I should have included, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you like what I do here. I hope that all of you guys have a great holiday season, and if you're a guitarist, I hope that you get some extra practice time in this winter. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.